It was probably the worst one.
Episode 9, Homer's Night Out.
Homer's Night Out.
Yeah. And, God, this one was a bad one.
Oh, it was just fucking awful.
After the heights of life in the fast lane,
yeah,
we've come down to the lower depths. And like, I didn't expect this episode to be like
this
offensive.
Bad. It is offensively bad. Homer goes on a work do.
Yeah, it's like a stag do.
Dances with Princess Cashmere,
who's an erotic dancer, gives her a bit of cash.
Yeah.
Bart snaps a photo and it spreads like wildfire across this pre-internet town.
Yep.
We all love it, and Homer's seen as being like a legend. Marge comes across it, she hates it, throws him out.
A town that has 6 separate strip joints, but still finds a man dancing with a woman to be a miracle.
Yeah.
He goes to 6 different strip joints, all of them much more like gaudy than just dancing with a belly dancer. And the whole town seems to find him. He's this magnificent swinger with some kind of animal magnetism. Oh my god, this is just
It has nowhere to begin to unpack this.
Well, the main thing I think the episode's trying to say is women, they've got more than just their bodies to offer. You'd say that was what it was trying to say.
It's so outdated in terms of its approach to feminism.
Well, it's more offensive because it's just trying to... Its end speech is just essentially saying women...
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Let's go through the episode piece by piece, I think, because there's a lot to say about that ending.
Alright, so the first thing it does is a weird... it starts off with him talking about his assistant's thing, and then it just goes 6 months.
Yeah.
Which was weird as
well. For the sake of a joke. For
the sake of the one joke that his assistant is now his supervisor, it does a 6-month time jump.
And he's like, oh yeah, this guy totally got drunk, my assistant totally got drunk and hit on this girl, and then 6 months later,
he's married to her.
My manager's getting married to this girl, yeah, so going on a stag do.
The reason, and then Bart's got the spy camera.
Yeah, it's like one of the, I don't know if you do them anymore, but like he can cut
They used to be able to get them fish, what they call them, monkey fish.
Monkey fish, yeah, something like that, yeah.
But yeah, the opening isn't that bad. It's not. It's just a sort of standard. Then when it gets to the strip joint, is where it's a
family restaurant.
It's a family restaurant which also caters to men having to stag parties.
Yeah, which is weird. I don't know why you'd want to have your stag do at like a family restaurant.
Yeah. So the first like 7 minutes, the first act aren't that bad.
It's alright.
But then it just becomes increasingly illogical and offensive. Because it doesn't make any sense. The main plot of the story is about the fact that this picture goes around and everyone's fascinated by it, but it doesn't make any sense. And everyone talks about how he's this big swinger who like is some kind of like god to women, but he's paid this woman. It's not like it's some kind of big achievement for him to be dancing with her.
No. Yeah, for some reason they all find it amazing. And then there's that really weird scene when Mr. Burns has a go at him and then he sends Smithers away. And then like he talks to him man to man about, oh Simpson, what's your secret?
Yeah.
It's so weird, it comes out of nowhere pretty much.
It's inconsistent with Mr. Burns' character, even in the episode. The whole show overall doesn't really add anything to the episode. It's not funny or well written or anything.
And then we're seeing yet again Homer and Marge having like
marital difficulties.
Like the episode after. I know there's loads of episodes later on where they experience marital difficulties, but you know, like the next episode after a really big one.
Yeah. Well, it's just such a fucking hypocrite. She doesn't want to have to go at him, and like she won't torture him and kicks him out. When the last episode she was going to have an affair.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it doesn't even make any sense. It's a double standard that's treating it because he's a man. The fact that he was seen even just dancing with this woman is seen as instantly more offensive than Marge's troubles, which were taken seriously. And they were like, because she's worried. Well, the Homer ones are given none of that kind of consideration or thought. It's got none of the thoughtfulness that made the last episode so great.
Yeah. It shows both sides of the coin in that episode.
Yeah.
The only good element I found of this episode was the stuff with Barney.
Oh.
That was the only funny, like vaguely funny stuff in there.
Yeah.
Like he lives in this really shit apartment and he, Homer does a really, well, I guess it's meant to be sweet and sentimental. It's like, oh, you see that house over there, Barney? So that row of lights over there? That one in the middle is mine.
Yeah.
And Barney's like, Homer's like, oh, I must have left my porch light on. And Barney's like, oh, okay. And he's like, hey, Marge, your porch light's left on. Homer's doggone deep pockets. So that's the only funny joke in the whole thing.
Yeah. But even more, I mean, this episode, if it was just unfunny, it wouldn't have been the worst one yet. Because there've been, 9, only about 3 of them have been good. And but it's just offensive towards women with its outdated, and even in 1989 or 1989 when it had been made, it showed in 1990.
It's all the whole like I guess it was like around the time like the second wave of feminism was coming about. The whole like women in the workplace, and that was on the rise obviously, and I guess this is the Simpsons' attempt to be equal rights, but it comes across as so Neanderthalic and outdated.
Well, it's trying. Yeah, as I said, in the ending, which we have gotten to.
Yeah, I mean,
he's
so like I mean, we'll get to that point first where like basically Marge is like, okay, Homer, for some, like I'm offended by it, but the worst thing is you've probably scarred Bart in terms of like your treatment of women. You need to show him how to treat a woman properly, and fair enough. That's a good message. Like like don't treat women like objects. It's such a it's a given. And it's an important message to give to young boys and young girls as well for the opposite gender. The whole point of feminism is that it's meant to be equal rights for both genders, irregardless of what sexual organs you've got. That's the whole point. But yeah, so they go on a search for this
Princess
Cashmere, and they kind of like because Homer wants to show that she's a human being, not just an object.
Yeah.
Bart doesn't really seem to be too bothered by it. He's not really understanding it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he does this after he's said his piece to Princess Cashmere. He's in front of a large stage after events. He's got a stage full of people. Yeah. And then Marge randomly turns up out of nowhere because she knows exactly what
which doesn't make sense.
Makes no sense. In a day pre-internet as well.
I suppose
pre-mobile phone, should I say.
Well, they try and do it where he rings on that payphone. He goes, we'll try one more place. Oh, but then, who's looking after Maggie and Lisa?
Yeah.
How did she beat them there? It just doesn't make any.
It doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up, and also it's just for that cheap moment where she takes him back. I'm assuming that was because they couldn't cut to like Homer being happy in the family. I mean, all they could have done to replace that would have been to cut to like the morning after or something. He's eating his breakfast and everything's happy again or something. Yeah, it would have been cheesy.
The status quo returns. Yeah. So Homer makes an incredibly heavy-handed speech about feminism.
Yeah.
Basically saying women aren't objects, they're these other roles that we should stick to. They're our mothers, our sisters,
but that's as offensive.
Wives. That's just as offensive, yeah. Because it's like, you're just delegating to another role, another preordained role that society places on women, that all they are just wives, sisters, daughters. That's just as offensive, probably.